One of the best-selling albums was Rumours by Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac. Their songs topped charts worldwide. They traveled the world. The fans yelled their names. One night, everything changed. She gave them hundreds of chances. She forgives often. Everyone has a limit. Hers was 40 years later. She won't perform with them anymore. The reason for this decision will surprise you. Stevie Nicks was born in Phoenix, Arizona on May 26, 1948. Her real name was Stephanie Lynn Nicks. As a child, she couldn't pronounce Stephanie. Instead, she said TD, which became Stevie. Got stuck. Nobody expected this sweet nickname to become famous worldwide. From the outset, Stevie had music. Sound captivated her as a baby. Although her family was pious, she worshipped music. Her grandfather, A.J., taught her first. Nicks. Though unknown, he sang at pubs and pool halls on trains and sang country music. He made money playing pool. Stevie was 4 when he taught her duets. Are You Mine was their first song. Indeed, music became hers. She performed in public at 5. Her granddad hand-built her instrument. Stevie later admitted he wasn't a terrific musician, but could write tunes. Interestingly, she would characterize herself that way too. The family moved because her father worked for Greyhound. Their visit was brief. Stevie grew up in Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Utah, and California. After making new acquaintances, she had to depart. Her mother advised her to make friends quickly and promised a nicer house. Stevie felt restless like a wanderer. Years later, she labeled herself a wanderer in a song, which made sense. That lifestyle made her adaptable. It prepared her for the ever-changing music industry. The first guitar was a big gift from her parents at 16. This Goya cost roughly $1,000 back then, over $9,000 today. Her parents bought the guitar after her teacher left for Spain after 6 weeks of lessons. Stevie wrote her first song in her room on her 16th birthday. It was titled, I've Loved and Lost. Her favorite boy chose her best buddy. The lyrics were simple but emotional. After finishing that song, Stevie felt it deeply. She wanted to do this forever. From then on, her family knew not to disturb her when she played music in her room. Not even dinner. Stevie wrote more than songs. She listened too. Her grandfather gave her 150 vinyl recordings of Shirelles, Shangri-Las, and Martha Reeves songs. Her favorite music was 1960s R&B and pop. Southern California high school girl joined the Changing Times Band. Mamas and Papas inspired her first genuine group. The biggest occasion was when her family moved to Palo Alto again. She transferred to Menlo Atherton High School for her senior year. Stevie Nicks didn't expect anyone remarkable that 1966 night. She was 18, a high school senior who transferred to Menlo Atherton, California. She attended a Wednesday church meeting for social reasons. Then she spotted him. Guitar player, 17-year-old with curly hair and deep blue eyes playing California Dreamin'. His name was Lindsey Buckingham. Stevie unconsciously walked over and sang along. She matched his voice flawlessly. Just one song, one moment. That spark changed their lives forever. After that night, they rarely spoke. A year passed before they met again. Lindsey played in Fritz, a troubled psychedelic rock band. Just lost 2 vocalists. He remembered the church girl with the terrible voice. He invited Stevie by phone. Yes, she said, not lovers. They performed together from 1967 until 1971. But bandmates. They opened for Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix in iconic San Francisco venues. Stevie caught every stage magic she could. She studied speech communication at San Jose State University offstage, always prepared. If music failed, she'd teach English. Without moving from San Francisco to L.A., we probably would have married and lived there. We think we would have been famous, too. The band broke up. Fritz broke up in 1971, changing everything. After leaving the group, Stevie and Lindsey continued playing. Suddenly, the connection changed. They fell in love. Stevie left college with her father's permission. Lindsey and I planned to move to L.A. Lindsey contracted mononucleosis right before they left. They moved about a year late. Stevie looked after him. They wrote songs, harmonies, and created their signature sound in those silent, tired months. Finally reached L.A. in late 1972. Their debut album was Buckingham in 1973. A brave move. It was raw. The cover depicted them partially nude, which Stevie hated but felt pressured to do. The honest, personal music failed. Fewer than 40,000 copies sold. Critics were unimpressed. The label quit. Stevie suddenly cleaned houses, and waiting, resting at Bob's Big Boy to survive. She received $50 a week cleaning producer Keith Olsen's home. Lindsey got studio work when he could. Their money was gone. Shared a one-bedroom apartment. Meals were cheap. Macaroni, tuna, whatever they could afford. Music kept their love together, despite difficulties. A twist of fate occurred. Mick Fleetwood entered a California studio late 1974. Keith Olsen, the producer, played him Buckingham's Frozen Love. The music lasted nearly 7 minutes, but Fleetwood couldn't stop listening. He was blown away by guitar. The time was ideal. Fleetwood Mac needs a new guitarist after losing theirs. That night, December 31st, Fleetwood called Lindsey Buckingham. He invited him to join the band, but Buckingham refused without Stevie. Together, they were a package. Fleetwood could have declined, but he accepted both. Moment impacted music history. They had dinner at a Los Angeles Mexican restaurant that night. One side had Fleetwood, John, and Christine McVie. Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, respectively. Strange scene. The band was exhausted following years of lineup changes. Lindsey and Stevie were poor. Their album failed, and they were barely surviving. Something clicked at that table. Christine admired Stevie's style. Fleetwood appreciated Lindsey's sound. They experimented. A few weeks later, they practiced. It was then that magic began. Stevie sang Rhiannon and Landslide. No band member has heard anything like those. Rhiannon was scary, almost ghostly. Stevie spun in black outfits on stage. She sang like a witch. Mick Fleetwood told him she was like an exorcism. Landslide was more personal. She wrote it while contemplating quitting music, while looking at snow-covered mountains in Colorado. Songs struck deep. Not only did they sound wonderful, they felt true. They gave the band emotion for the first time. Poetically wrapped. On July 11, 1975, Fleetwood Mac launched their new album. It didn't explode immediately. It entered the Billboard chart at 183 and remained. It reached #1 in September 1976, after 57 weeks of rising. People played it non-stop. It got hits from everyone. Christine's gentle melodies, Lindsey's wild guitar, and Stevie's ethereal lyrics. Brennan, Over My Head, Say You Love Me, Landslide. The album sold over 7 million U.S. sales by 2018. Ultimately took time to catch on in the UK, but ultimately went gold. Fleetwood Mac had grown and improved. Stronger and dirtier. Pressure increased with celebrity. Stardom was coming to Stevie. Her voice, face, and energy were everywhere. But fame has fissures. The Lindsey relationship was crumbling. They had been together for years, but now fought often. Christine and John McVie, married when the new lineup began, were also divorcing. And Mick Fleetwood? After discovering his wife was unfaithful, he began an affair with Stevie. Though chaotic, it all fueled the music. They began recording Rumours in 1976. This would take almost a year. Nearly $1 million back then, nearly $5 million today, for sessions. Fighting, screaming, and yelling, They went into the studio and recorded some of the best songs ever. They wrote more than music, writing to each other. Lindsey wrote Your Own Way, punching with lyrics like "Shacking Up is all you desire." Stevie was mad. Each time she sang that on stage, she wanted to murder him. "Dreams, lovely and smooth, yet deadly," she replied. Summer 1981 brought the twist. Stevie Nicks released Belladonna, her first solo album. The highest debut since Stevie Wonder's Hotter Than July was number 12 in its first week. That was huge, but it got bigger. It topped the charts by September. It outperformed Fleetwood Mac's Tusk, which peaked at number 4. 3 months after release, the album became platinum. Quadruple platinum by 1990. Over 5 million U.S. copies were sold. 4 songs made Belladonna famous. Stop Draggin' My Heart, Around with Tom Petty, reached number 3. Leather and Lace with Don Henley peaked at 6th. Edge of 17 rose to 11. Reached 32 when the sparkle faded. Stevie called the CD dreamy. She stated it hurt her heart, but given her the strength to strive for love. Not merely a hit album. It got her into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That made her proud, not only for herself, but for all women. Something else started with Belladonna, her distinctive sound. From 2 backup vocalists who never left her, Lori Perry and Sharon Solani. Stevie met Lori in 1971 after coming to L.A. with Lindsey Buckingham. In 1977, she sang in a Hawaiian bar and met Sharon. Stevie watched Sharon sing for 30 seconds without blinking because she was so into the music. Stevie loved that. She wanted their voices to beckon and respond. She envisioned a female Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Stevie released The Wild Heart 2 years after Belladonna, dedicating it to Loretta and Sharona for never abandoning me. It arrived June 1983, following Fleetwood Mac's Mirage tour. She was mourning her best friend Robin Anderson, who had died a year before. That loss shaped Stevie and the album. The Wild Heart spent 7 weeks at number 5 on the Billboard 200. It became platinum in 3 months and sold over 2 million copies by 1993. She invited huge names. Tom Petty composed her a song. Fleetwood appeared on a track. Prince added an uncredited synth element to Stand Back. Followed Rock Somewhat in 1985. Within a month, it went platinum at number 12. It sold over 100,000 UK and 1 million US copies. Songs like Talk to Me peaked at number 4. I Can't Wait hit number 16, and Has Anyone Ever Written Anything for You was a concert favorite. Although it didn't sell as well as her other albums, it nevertheless made the top 50 of 1986. Tom Petty influenced her solo journey. He kept Insider as a song instead of giving it to her. He wrote Stop Dragging My Heart Around for her, a huge success. We'll Run to You, simply for her second album, he wrote later. Stevie called Petty her favorite songwriter. Leather and Lace, her duet, had a tale. Although intended for Waylon Jennings and Jesse Coulter, they never used it. Stevie recorded it with Don Henley, making it another smash. Stevie played before huge crowds. One of the largest was 1983's U.S. Festival. Over 650,000 attended. Stand Back and Nightbird were her Saturday Night Live performances that year. She returned to the show 41 years later in 2023. But being a solo artist and Fleetwood Mac member cost. While Stevie claimed going back and forth was a blessing, it depleted her. In the late 80s, things fell apart. The psychiatrist gave her Klonopin. It was meant to relax her. However, it nearly destroyed her life. Her term was addiction in a bottle. It cost her 8 years. Her inventiveness vanished. Her desire left. She gained weight and despised her appearance. The hardest part was she couldn't write. In 1993, she quit Fleetwood Mac. Head gashed after falling into fireplace. The breaking point. She entered a 47-day detox, Very cruel. Hair grayed. Her skin peeled. Her legs hurt continuously. She termed it her hardest act. But she knew she had to. There was no shortcut. Cocaine preceded Klonopin. It got out of control by the late 1970s after she started in the early 70s. A hole in her nose. She spent millions on drugs. Her team had to watch her during concerts to prevent her from falling. She neglected to remove her contact lenses after a 48-hour drug binge one night. Her corneas were so injured that she performed with bandages. Joe Walsh from the Eagles made her drug use dangerous. Days went by without sleep. Walsh had to leave for their sakes. In 1986, a plastic surgeon warned her the following line may kill her. She checked into the Betty Ford Center. She never forgave the doctor who prescribed Klonopin after saving her from cocaine. She stated, "He stole years I could have spent writing, loving, and living." Stevie claims she dealt with everything alone. She often says, "I saved myself." She entered rehab. Through anguish, she fought. She didn't want sympathy. She did not request aid. But Tom Petty worried about her. "I wouldn't have been astonished if the phone rung and they said she died," he said. Her addiction was severe. Stevie stated she once didn't want to become clean. She dubbed it the White Horse and refused to get off. Her work suffered. She hated Klonopin's music effects. She stated authors need drama, emotion, and grief. The medicine eliminated that. This made 1994's Street Angels feel flat to her. It didn't matter when she arrived. She was numb. The fire ended. That album failed. She nearly quit music. Her recovery was slow following detox. She occasionally takes marijuana when writing, but she's careful. It helps her produce and is her only indulgence. Stevie Nicks later termed her 1983 decision a catastrophic mistake. She lost her dearest buddy Robin to leukemia. Robin's son Matthew was born 2 days before her death. Stevie married Robin's husband Kim Anderson in sadness, not in love. Both were broken. Marriage might help them endure the sorrow. It didn't. Only 3 months. After the divorce, they stopped talking. Stevie contacted Matthew years later. She funded his college. Adulthood brought a daughter. Her name was Robin. Stevie became grandmother. Stevie underwent breast implants in 1976, Fleetwood Mac's peak. It was trendy. All informed her it was safe. They convinced her. For nearly 20 years, she lived with them. Her health plummeted in 1994. She was always exhausted. It was Epstein-Barr virus, doctors said.